And we're back again. Welcome to Dad School Podcast.com. This is Josh. And this
I'm
is Jimmy.
Yeah.
And that was a great intro. I liked it. I always hear .com in my head when I say our podcast name for some reason.
I'm just going to clip that and that'll be my ringtone for you.
Dad School
Anytime
Podcast.
you call.
.com.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we're back.
It's sad we're of that generation that we would pay for ringtones. Isn't that a weird feeling?
Oh my gosh. And it was stressful because at the mall, I'm getting my American flag cover for my Nokia. American flag cover, right? I had the smiley face holographic background over top the screen. So if you turn it, it has a smiley face. I got a red, white, and blue light up antenna attachment on my Nokia. And then I had I don't know what ringtone I had, but I had some kind of ringtone. They added it. And I remember being super excited about it. And then it was just in my pocket.
Those were the days.
Those are the days.
Anyway, intrusive thought came in my brain. I just had to take that.
Speaking of intrusive thoughts, what are we talking about today, Jimmy?
Hey, we're wanting to talk about life comes at you fast. Before you know, I mean, things alter, things adjust, things change. Your kids are growing up. What they're interested in or what they're up to is different from one year to the next. Some of your routines that you have going on in your house then kind of follow suit, and routines are changing because family schedules and everything that's going on start to adjust. And maybe some of your friendships even start to slip or start to change or have other alterations to them. Just life whizzes by, and you gotta
whizzes.
You gotta grasp
That's a great shirt. Life whizzes. And in the back, it says bye.
Bye.
Yes. So, this week, man, as soon as I start talking, every single time, my voice is like, I'm gonna throw something in your throat, like phlegm. It's great. This week's gonna be a little different. Had a lot of surface thoughts come together for this episode, and the best that I could cobble together a common theme is just like changes happen, right? And we're in the summertime. We're in officially it is summer. Like last week was the first day, right? Even though it's been 100. Yeah, I think it was last week sometime, or maybe it was this week. Either way, we're officially in summer now, which means the season changed, fitting the theme of the show right now, and it's about ready to change into fall coming up, hopefully really soon. Nice cold weather for me. I like that. But seasons have changed. My oldest son went off to a summer camp, a youth summer camp for this week, and it's been that empty chair at the table. It's been that many less interruptions throughout the day. My doors closed in my office, and someone just bursts through it. Looking at me like, "What?" I miss that actually. Like as much as I might act annoyed in a meeting with all my coworkers or my bosses, and my son walks in the door like it's not even closed, I miss that. Like I experienced that yesterday. I'm looking at my door and it's closed, and no one came to see me the whole day in my basement, like he usually does several times a day, just to say hi, which is cool. I like that. And sitting at dinner, looking over, and there's an empty chair, and it's like, oh, I'm a strong dad. Trying not to cry. I mean, I had something in my eyes. I wasn't crying.
Yes.
But it just highlights how fast things come and go. Right, change happens. And it got me thinking a little bit. How can I make the most of my time with my son at this time in his life? So that's kind of like, food for thought. Think of that as we continue forward. I have that in my mind. Let's see how Jimmy's changing life is going as he gets older.
older. Yeah, I mean, every year has been totally different. I mean, I've changed jobs a few times in the last 5, 10 years. Uh, and and then just what my kids are up to is just constantly changing in the midst of all of that. What their hobbies or interests are, how the school routine is going. The co-op that we're a part of, as they get older, they're kind of the way that they do class, the way they do school, the type of school work that they do during the week before we go to co-op is different. And and this last year in particular was like just super interesting, in part because I was the teacher of the 7th grade class with my oldest daughter. Um, so just the fact that I was in the classroom was super interesting. But what I loved is just the fact that like I like as my daughter is getting to that age where you can have um deeper conversations, and like there's a lot more meat and substance. Like little children conversations are fun, like you can be really goofy and get into some like fun or interesting topics, but you can only hold their attention span for so long. But like with my oldest daughter now, like she wants to sit and we'll have like a long form conversation, go go to Panera and get a hot coffee or something, and we'll just sit. She'll get a muffin, and we'll just sit and talk. Like we've gotten to do that a couple times. Um, but those sorts of things, like seeing that change where she's able to hold a long form conversation, but also interested in wanting to have those conversations and asking questions. The first few times kind of caught me off guard because like I'm not used to this. I felt like inadequate and not ready. And I probably fumbled the ball a little bit with those first kind of deep questions, like, "Oh, who is this?" But it's been good, and I really enjoy, yeah, that different pace of life that we're getting that way.
Yeah, and it's interesting because your oldest and my oldest are pretty much the same age, and they're in the
Yeah, roughly.
same changes in life, and I will agree with you. You know, it's a different conversation with him for me, a 13-year-old versus a 6-year-old. You know, it's way different. And I have daughters in the middle, and I'm not sure about the whole like maturity level thing. They have me as a father, so they're all pretty immature by baseline. It's not much growth from this side of the table. Um, so it is interesting watching those changes happen. Him going off and being on his own like this, being on his own, you know, as a seventh grader in this youth trip, preparing to go on the trip with, getting all the items ready, having his cell phone out really for the first time away from home for a long time. All these different things. He's a charger, just things he's thinking about. It's interesting to see him kind of problem solve life's challenges on his own. So it's
Mhm.
fun. It's fun to watch that, and it's once again, it takes me back to I see the end game coming, like eventually he's going to be moving on without me. And then I start like getting sad introspectively of like, there was a time when my dad was in the same position I'm in now. And I was moving forward. I right after high school, I went to basic training in the Air Force and just left. Right, there was no like easing out. I was just here one minute and gone the next, and I didn't come back for months. You know, he saw me at graduation. Then I went away again for several more months, doing training down in Texas, and I didn't see him until probably the fall. So it was a long time. I remember the first Father's Day in basic training. It was a Sunday morning. I was in church service in basic training, and the pastor said, "It's Father's Day today." I didn't even know it was Father's Day because your whole mindset you're in basic training just lose track of time. It was like an impact for me, seriously. But as soft and gushy as all this conversation is, it's not the point of the conversation. Back to the point. I'm kind of going off on a tangent. So,
That's all right.
in following with self realization moments, last week I had a first for me. I serve as a deacon in training at our local church, and one of our the things that we responsibilities is serving other people. Obviously, is visiting people in the hospital, and I'm terrified of that. Like it is unknown realm for me to support people in that capacity that's outside family. And I've really been fortunate in my life not to have a lot of friends go into the hospital, that I was able to go visit them, I guess. So this was a hard thing for me. And one of my pastor friends called me up last week and said, "Hey, you want to come with me?" I was like, "No, yeah, sure, I'll go." So I went, and it was an amazing experience. We visited two people, and we had good conversation because it was pretty long drive in the process. And he got talking to me about my own family um, Bible practices and what I'm doing as a dad and as a father and a leader of the household. So once again, changes in my life. I admitted, hey, I'm not doing what I want to be doing. I know what I should be doing. I should be leading my family biblically. I should be leading my wife and my kids biblically. And I really dropped the ball on that. So that is kind of the overarching takeaway from this podcast is, it is always a struggle to get get yourself in the correct position in your household as a dad. I've found as a dad, there's certain times in life you just kind of stop and you look around. You're like, I'm not doing what I should be doing. I need to do more.
Mm.
I should be doing better. And we talk about this on the show all the time. Being present is like half the battle, right? Um, but there's always something you can tweak, and that's what this is about. Those little things. So one of my big struggles has been family Bible reading time. Like, we just have not done it. We've tried a couple times to start off, and it just hasn't worked out. Like, we lost one or two times, and that's on me. That's on the father figure of the household. I feel that I should be upholding that. So I started this. What was it that Thursday night last week, or after I got back from the hospital visits? At dinner time, I sat down, opened up Hebrews chapter 1, and read the first chapter. Right, and it was awesome. Like, I felt good doing it. The kids had a couple questions. We answered and talked about it. But then you know what happened, Jimmy? And that hasn't happened since. I have Hebrews chapter 2 I've looked at, and I know the gist of it, and I'm familiar. I'm more familiar with it this time because Hebrews 1. I was actually planning on starting with John, but then my wife said the kids have studied John a lot of times. Let's try something they haven't done. And she suggested Hebrews. I was like, great suggestion, honey. So we did Hebrews. Uh,
Hmm.
but yeah, we haven't done it since. So that's once again on me. I started getting super depressed and super sad over the weekend and leading up to today. And yesterday, I think it was yesterday, my same pastor friend, he texted me. He's been checking up on me like he should be, and he was like, "Hey, how's it going?" I admitted to him. I was like, "Hey, I haven't been doing what I should be doing still. I did once. I feel like I'm failing again." And he had some great words of encouragement for me. He said, it should be the norm to sit down and read your Bible with your family. But life happens, and things happen, things come up, and it's okay if you miss a couple days or you miss a week because your life and your schedule is crazy. Just as long as you get back to the norm. So that was pretty cool. And it was encouraging, and we haven't been back to the norm yet, but I fully, like, it's in my mind. Yes, we get back to the norm. That's the new norm. So
Hmm.
thought that was pretty
You think that's
cool.
something you'll wait till your oldest is back from camp,
No,
or are you gonna
no, that
press
was one
on
of the
while
things.
he's doing his thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I did bring up in the conversation to my pastor. I was like, I'm not gonna wait. I'm gonna continue reading. I'm not. It's you can't wait because there's always an excuse if you do, right? And my son,
Mhm.
I can always assign extra reading to my son when he gets home. He can read it to catch up. Homeschool.
Yeah. Right. Right.
But I mean, how do you have these same kind of things at your house, Jimmy? Do you have rhythm problems when it comes to biblical reading or anything else?
Yeah. I mean, we've always been able to. have as a primary rhythm, and obviously it's never perfect. It's never something that is every single night of the calendar year. But we pause each night and we'll have something that we read. Usually going through, we've done like some Louis Giglio studies that are kid friendly and some other stuff like that. We've never just gone through a book of the Bible, read through together, but we've done some different studies together as a family, or we just have some family reading time, or we'll be reading a book together. But then after that, before bed, the last thing we'll do is we'll kind of just share what's going on in each other's life, some prayer requests, and we'll end the night in prayer as a family before going off to bed. That's been kind of part of our routine. Obviously, sometimes are more hit, and sometimes are more miss. But I mean, this week we've hit each night. I think it's been good. But yeah, having those intentional moments to be able to wrap up your day as a family, and that we're setting our foundation as a family. Like, okay, we're coming to the throne of Jesus right now. Like that puts our life in a frame of reference that I think is very important and very beneficial for our girls to see. Like, this is where our values and our strength all come from this. Um, I mean, maybe we should pick a book of the Bible and we can go through together in our house. That's not something that we've tackled specifically, but I don't see why not.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually picked up a couple studies, and yeah, I have a couple on my desk down here. Even I got some from my son, just father son. After I did the Iron Sharpens Iron series 2 years ago at the church
Hmm.
I'm at, I got really motivated and I picked up a men's devotional for my son and me. And that's another thing. I fall flat. Everything gets in the way of trying to spend time with God in my life, it seems. And that's not an
Hmm.
excuse I'm trying to use. It's totally my fault. But everything gets in my way. And I just go down that pathway instead of doing what I should be doing. And I realize, and that's the worst part. And I know that his devotional is sitting on his desk and my devotional is sitting on my desk. And I don't think we've looked at it one page together, which is something that's on
Hmm.
me. I should be enforcing that. That's why I chose just going right into the Bible. You know, you should just open it up. Actually, I didn't choose it. My pastor friend suggested it. And I thought it was a great suggestion because he's right. Everyone should be in the Word, straight in the Word. That's like the best. That's the source, right? So anything
Right.
else is
Yeah.
supplement. I can't say that word correctly. But yeah, that's why I chose that, and I want to stick with that. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be very hard, but I want to be better about that.
Yeah. It's worthwhile. It makes me think. Just started reading Screw Tape Letters again. I haven't picked it up in a long time. Have you ever read that book?
Yeah, I've not finished it.
Not. Yeah.
I've started
But
it.
yeah. So with the C.S. Lewis Screw Tape Letters, the premise of an elder demon writing letters to his nephew, who is an apprentice demon. And the whole thing is just, it's all about strategies of how to distract, how to, um, uh, pull the wool over a new believer's eyes and get them distracted, get them focused on other things. And so that I started reading that again because my older daughter, she was interested in reading it. And so I started going through it and I'm like, oh yeah, I totally fall for all of these tricks of
Mhm.
the trade, so to speak. And yeah, it was a good reminder for me that these rhythms and the routines absolutely is like a, one of the best tools that we have in our our toolbox of keeping our minds and our hearts exactly where they should be.
Yeah. So, consistent how I choose or how I plan to overcome, what I'm going through right now. Like I don't have it all solved, and I'm not going to have it all solved forever. Probably, I'm always going to struggle in some way, shape, or form with getting schedules and motivation and everything aligned. We go through different seasons of our lives and whatnot. But like you said, you touched on it right away. Consistency. Consistency in our schedules and our mindset, And that's why I've asked my kids to hold me accountable, and they haven't. So I can go after them for that and be like, you didn't do your job either. Not really. Don't blame your kids. It's my fault.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, consistency is key, and it's interruptions happen. Shouldn't stop us from trying, and that's our job as dads, as adults, as dads, as fathers of the house, as Christian men. It is our job to ensure our family is in the Word and following the Word. That it comes down to that. If you're not doing that, you're failing, and it's okay to fail. We have a book called the Bible that tells us why we are failing. It tells us all about that. Everything's in there. All the answers are in there. You just got to read it. But it's okay, and we can try again. If you failed today, there's always tomorrow. There's always later on. There's always right now. Go pick up the Bible and read it. So, in the same spirit of failure and deep thinking and changes in life, I'm going to circle back around to something we talked about early on in our podcast, and it's about who you surround yourself with in life, who you choose to be around. I choose to be around Jimmy, and that's awesome. Okay.
Oh
But
yeah.
in the past, I haven't always chosen to be around awesome people like Jimmy, right? In the past, I have chosen some people who led me down the wrong path. That was before I was a Christian. I chose some friends that took me down the path of atheism, and it was a terrible journey, right? In the same mindset, playing video games online, um, I focus on playing a game with people and having fun with those people, and I don't focus on their morals, their beliefs, what they, how they act, what they do outside of the game, and how it affects me and makes me feel. So in the moment, that person that I'm talking about that I play games with made me feel happy, and I enjoyed hanging out with them, and we had lots of good conversations. Sometimes it trickled over to family, sometimes it trickled over to this, but it was always from a point of loving the game together, loving playing the game with that person, and it was always based
Right.
on that. There was no deep connection or anything outside. I didn't know. Well, I kind of knew his political affiliation. I could take a strong guess at his biblical affiliations, but I kind of chose not to pay attention to that because I wanted to focus on the video game and how we interacted in the video game. Well, I was wrong, and I should have been focusing on the type of person I'm hanging out with based on how they'll help me grow as a person spiritually with God and just in general as a person. This person that I was choosing to hang out with online didn't have those qualities. And in the end, once they found out that our opinions differed on political issues and geopolitical, all the adult issues that you don't talk about playing video games, once they figured out that we're different, they went completely opposite direction from me and became pretty nasty actually. And it wasn't very pretty. And as much as I wanted to hang on to a friendship that I thought was worth saving, it ended up not being worth saving, and it was toxic in a sense to myself. So the whole point of me bringing this up and doing a emotional dump in the middle of this show once again is, yeah, write that down. Emotional dump, Josh. You have to be careful who you choose to hang out with. And as silly as it sounds, something as simple as playing video games with somebody, you need to be careful with who you spend your time with and who you choose to let influence you. Okay. Luckily, this person didn't influence me in the ways that they were thinking because they would lead me down a path that I'm not currently on. It would have been very bad. But luckily, I was able to separate myself from that person now, and I can focus on other people in my life that are helpful in getting closer to God, to helpful in the sense that they align morally and spiritually with everything that I align with. So I can be a better dad for my kids. I can be a better, be a better husband to my wife. So it's just it goes to it's a lesson that we all. It's not easy to learn. It's painful, but sometimes you need to break those ties. That fun person you hung out with isn't who you should hang out with sometimes if they're not helping you grow as a person.
Yeah, it's like in scripture it says even a small bit of leavening or a little bit of yeast will affect the entire batch of dough. So I
Yep.
mean, it makes me, kind of think of your life, how your life turns out. It's almost like a recipe, so to speak. And depending on the ingredients that you mix into it, that affects the the result of what you pull out of the oven. I guess to take the metaphor to the end. Is it going to be a delicious item that you can enjoy, or is it going to be rotten and full of full of all sorts of nasty junk that's going to make it disgusting, or just out of balance, and it doesn't come out baking correctly or come out burnt, or I mean, it's that sort of mindset of what you put in determines what you get out. It's like even like a math equation, garbage in, garbage out. If you don't have the right parameters at the beginning, then your output at the end, it's gonna just give you gibberish, and it's not gonna make any sense. So it just, yeah, who you choose to be an influence on you. It's one thing choosing to spend time with someone knowing that you have an opportunity to be a positive influence on them.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going into it with an open mindset, knowing, okay, my foundation is firm, the choices that they are choosing to make, I can allow to influence me, or I can be aware of it and prayerfully just ask God to allow me to be a positive influence. So that only can come with a certain level of maturity on your own part.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was easy when I was, when I was in high school to have that uh, uh, naivety. Is that the word? I
Yeah,
wanted to say nativity, but that's not it. Naivety.
that's a Christmas
Uh,
scene.
it's like, yeah, not that one. Um, but like, oh yeah, I can be that positive influence on my friends, and I can hang
Mm-hmm.
out while they're being dumb, and but they ended up influencing more than
Yep.
I think I was able to influence them. And looking back, it's like I didn't have that maturity for myself, and so I wasn't going into it with actual wisdom. I had some great Bible knowledge, but I didn't have good applicable wisdom. And now I think I'm a little better at being able to discern that a little more, and um, a little more choosy with who I spend my time with. But whenever I have those times, especially, I mean, like when you're at work, you're at work with who your coworkers are. You don't have that
Yeah.
choice. But when I'm around them, like I can choose, like, okay, I can either try to be that influence on them in a Christ-like manner, or I can allow them hearing their crazy stories of whatever the heck they're up to. I can allow that to influence me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've learned some good lessons that I've got that balance a little better than I did, especially in high school.
That's a great distinction you just made. Like when you go to work, you can't choose who you interact with on a daily basis. Like to a sense, and it depends on your work. Obviously, if you have a high customer facing job, you obviously have to face the public and their raw form every day, right? But if you have
Right.
a closed position job, like I would consider software development, and I'm in kind of closed position. Like I know the circle I'm in. I don't have new people every single day. I work with the same group of people across the country every single day. So I know them. I kind of know where they stand on a lot of things. Um, I'm forced to be in that position because I choose to have a paycheck and a job and responsibilities and be an adult, right? And like you said, you're high school. You have friends. The same. It's a little different because you can choose who you hang out with, right? You might be in the same classes and be forced, but and largely, when you have a circle of people around you choose to spend time with, that's on your free time. Like for me, this instance I'm talking about with online person, that was 110% Josh's free time to play video games and slack off. You know, it was my relief, and we need that. You know, you need an outlet to slack off, relax, unwind. You know, and just we're supposed to rest. You know, it's supposed to do these things. But I was choosing to fill that time with somebody who, like you said, I knew is different than me in every way, shape, and form. Um, and I didn't approach that situation like you just said, which I thought was really good how you said it. I didn't approach that with a godly foundation. I didn't approach that every single time that they brought something up, knowing my convictions, even challenging what they were saying that I knew was wrong. I just kind of like I played the safe card in public and didn't engage because a lot of times, um, if you do engage, you're labeled uh, different terms, and it doesn't go well for you. I'm not saying you should shy away from talking to people about things. It's a having apologetics and being able to defend your faith and your way of thinking is a very powerful and needed thing in today's society. I watch videos on it all the time and I love it. But it's really intimidating when you get to a personal level that I've known this person and enjoyed playing games with them. So I just was quiet and I didn't want to challenge them to disrupt that friendship. Okay. And people probably face that every day in the Christian circles with their families, even. Like you have a family member that you know doesn't fully share your convictions. And you choose to be quiet on things sometimes when they say certain phrases or certain ideologies they have. You choose to be quiet rather than engaging because you don't want to push them out of your life. So it's a very common thing. What's the right answer? I mean, probably not being quiet, but supposed to do it with a loving heart. And unfortunately, it does cause relationships to fail sometimes. It's the reality, but we're not called to be weak and timid followers of Christ at all. Like we're not called to hide ourselves. We're called, the Great Commission tells us to go out, and make followers of the people.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So we got to package this all together, Jimmy. Man, we were all over the place today. We as in me, sorry.
A lot of ends to tie up. It's all good.
A lot of ends to tie up. That's right. So we have the we have the Josh feels inadequate as a father and human and sad that his offspring is going and doing things. We have Josh is sad because he's not doing Bible studies at home. We have Josh is sad because his friends online are not the people he should hang out with sometimes. So today's theme, I think, was Josh is sad.
But I think Josh is great.
Thanks, Jimmy.
You're welcome. High five.
Yeah, no, but you know what? It's okay though, because through these sad moments and self-reflection, I feel like you can come up with great plans of action for your life and for yourself. I had my son going out of town. He's coming back this Friday. It's not the end of the world. I'm really excited for him to come back. But it makes me value the time with him that much more. Like when he gets back, I don't know what we're going to do, but I want to do something with him. I'm excited, Hopefully he wants to do something with me, or we'll have another episode in the future about being sad because your kid rejects you. We'll see. But then like the Bible, I'm sad that I wasn't doing what I should be doing with that, and I'm still struggling, but I have a plan. I'm going to be more consistent. I'm going to go outside my comfort zone and read the Bible with my family. That's what I should be doing. So I have an action plan to do that. And even if I mess it up tonight or tomorrow, I'm gonna get back on there. I have friends like Jimmy. He's gonna be following up with me and hey, are you doing this? My other friend, my pastor friend, he's gonna be calling me too and saying, hey Josh, are you doing this? How's it going? It's gonna keep me responsible. So I got people in my life who are gonna help me and build me up. And that flows into the third thing of I didn't have that with this other friend online that I was choosing to spend time with. He wasn't going to call me and check in to see how I'm doing with my son being out of town. He's not going to call in to check in with me and see, am I reading my Bible and out with my kids and family? That's like, you can do some checks and balances. This person in my life that I had to let go, they weren't that for me, and they weren't going to do that for me. So I'm excited because I have people in my life that I can lean on them instead, and I know they're there for me. So, and also telling people about these problems is probably step two. First is like getting away from people who aren't going to help you. Step two is getting closer to people who are going to help you, because if they don't know what you're up to, if they're not in your life, then they're not going to know to help you. So there you go. Put a bow on that sucker, didn't I?
There you go. It's good.
What's our
Good
challenge this
landing.
week, Jimmy? What's our challenge to our massive list of couple of viewers?
We just want to invite you as you're going through your own challenges in life. And I think kind of our overarching theme was just how life comes at you, changes happen, and you got to learn to adjust and do your best to keep up with stuff. We'd love to be there for you. If you've got anything that's on your mind, any challenge that you feel like you need to work it out with someone, you could reach out to us. But absolutely, we encourage you to at least just reach out to maybe an old friend that you felt like was always there for you. Maybe you've got a ministry leader in your life, someone you can reach out to. But we'd love to hear any feedback or any questions or any ways we can even pray for you. Just you can hit us up on all the socials or dadschoolpodcast.com.
Yes.
But pick a thing. If it's reading your Bible or spend some more time setting up those routines with your kids, with your family. Try to build in at least one more routine this week if you can.
That's right. And let us know, even, you know what, if any of these categories have resonated with you, please reach out to dadschoolpodcast.com and let us know on that contact form what you're struggling with. We'll pray for you. We'll be there with you. We'll help encourage you. I hope to have an inbox full of people telling me what they're struggling with so I can follow up with you every single week. I'll email you. Just send me a message, and let me know. And we'll help you however we can. That's my
Yep.
end of pleading. But yeah,
We're all in the same fight.
Next week, Jimmy, we're not going to be here, are we?
Nope.
And it's not my fault. Just want to point that out. It
I'll
may or
own
may
it.
not be. It may or may not be Jimmy's fault. We're not here next week, but he's taking a much needed vacation, and it's just going to be 1 week, right? We're coming back after that.
Oh, I'm gone for like months.
What? No.
Yeah, 1 week. Yeah,
1 week. Okay, yeah. So God willing, we'll be back in 2 weeks. We'll be back. So we'll see you then. And in the meantime, stay present. Stay in your house. No, stay in your house. Stay present and be there for your family. And just remember, you're the chosen leader of your family and your household. So own it. Take care.
That's right.